What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Yeah, I know, I'm wearing a Carson Palmer jersey. Give me a second, I'll explain what's going on. Let's get right into it. So yeah, basically I got this Carson Palmer jersey and I just realized it's actually like kind of the right size. Like I was looking at this because I got this when I was a kid. I'll go through the background in 1 second. But basically this is actually like the right size. Now you're probably like, okay, why are you wearing a Carson Palmer jersey? Well, I'm wearing this jersey as a tribute to Carson Palmer for speaking some facts. Now, this whole situation with me having a Bengals jersey is kind of strange. So basically when I was younger, as we know, Lions have been pretty awful for a lot of years. And especially when I was younger, it was like those 2008 years. So they were not like winning any games at all. And Dad would always say, hey, you should switch teams because you're going to be disappointed all the time. And I would get real sad. Still, I do. But I would get really sad. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm switching teams. I'm a Bengals fan now. And, you know, he was definitely probably disappointed. But he got me the Carson Palmer jersey. I was like, all right, you know, I'll rock with it. Rocked with it probably for a few days. And then the Lions played the Bengals. And I took it out. I was like, yeah. Nope, I can't do it. Haven't even brought it out since. But I got to bring it out for this occasion. Now, I'm going to take it off because it's tight. But it's actually bigger than I thought. I thought this was going to be like a kid's jersey. But no, I mean, this is a pretty big size. But either way, Carson Palmer, I got to give you credit, my man, for giving credit to Matthew Stafford and really spitting some facts, okay? Surprising some people. That way, it's not just us saying this on these, like, you know, these small YouTube channels. It's like the big mass, the known people. Everybody knows about Carson Palmer in the football world. And you're saying this, and I love it, okay? Now, basically, Carson Palmer talked about Matthew Stafford on a live radio show. And when he was talking, and they asked him really, who is the most talented quarterback in the NFL? And Carson Palmer started off to talk about Mahomes, and he's like, well, you know, I think there is a guy that doesn't get enough credit. And that guy, you may not even know, but that is Matthew Stafford, okay? And he talked about how Matthew Stafford is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL and why he's not recognized very much. And it all made sense. He's spitting facts, okay? This is something that we kind of understand as Lions fans, why he doesn't get the respect he deserves. But it's awesome to hear a guy like Carson Palmer say this. I knew I liked you, Carson. I knew I liked you, Carson. For some reason, I knew I did. And, you know, he talks about this. Now, I actually have a couple of, like, what do I call them? Excerpts? I don't know how you say it. I got like a couple little clips from that video, so I may pop those off during. I may do a cutscene of a little clip. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe it's going to be in the corner. I don't know what you're going to see, okay? Either way, I'll do it while I edit. But I'm going to talk about it because I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to talk about the whole thing, but I also am not going to just sit here. Anyways, let's look at this. So Palmer said, he basically said Matthew Stafford has more talent than most of the quarterbacks in the league, not named Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes. So the first guy that sticks out to me there, okay, there's a couple guys that stick out. One, he didn't mention Tom Brady, which he could have just forgot. I mean, it's very simple. You could have just forgot. Or two, he thinks Matthew Stafford is more talented than Tom Brady at this point in time. And I think right now there's this little notion going on that, hey, maybe Stafford's better than Rodgers. And I think it started a little bit last year, but kind of not because they finished so bad. And it's kind of picking up again this year. And I'm definitely on the side that Stafford's better at this point in time. Not career-wise, but at this point in time, I think you could definitely make a good argument that Matthew Stafford's the better quarterback, and that's the one that you would want to take right now if you're trying to win games. That's where I would go with it, but obviously I'm a Lions fan, so it's kind of hard for me because I'm going to be biased every time. You ask me any question with Matthew Stafford, I'm probably going to say he's better than every other quarterback in the league. And I just can't not say that, right? Like, it's hard for me not to say that. Like, if someone's like, oh, if someone will ask me at school, like, oh, who's the best quarterback? I'd say Stafford. They'd be like, oh, you're just a Lions fan. I'm like, yeah, I am. I can't say anything else. That's just who I believe it. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me. But Palmer said this, and that's why it made me excited. Now, there have been definitely guys that have complimented Matthew Stafford so far. I'm actually going to do a full video on just him. Decided not to. It was more of a story yesterday, and I was like, you know what? This Carson Palmer thing is... I don't know. The thing with the players is cool, you know, when players compliment other players, it's cool. But it's also kind of lame. Like, it's not lame, but it's not like a big deal. Because obviously, if someone comes to you with a microphone, you're about to play a team next week, and they ask you about that team, and they're like, okay, how do you feel about this player? You're not going to say, oh, he's trash. Because then if he burns you, you're going to be like, oh, that looks stupid. You're not going to say that, okay? You're going to praise them. So that's not really a big deal to me, obviously. Adrian Amos said some good stuff about Matthew Stafford. So I'm not really going to talk about that, but instead, Carson Palmer here saying that he has more talent than any quarterbacks not named Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, okay? Now, who sticks out other than Tom Brady? Well, Russell Wilson, because this was the thing with Golden Tate. Golden Tate's like, hey, this is the best quarterback I've ever played with. Everybody's like, oh, Russell Wilson's the best quarterback you've ever played with. And I'm like, no, he's not. Stafford is, in my opinion, at least. I can understand if you go with Wilson. And this point is something that I've been trying to drive for forever. Like, I don't know how many times I got to say it. But he basically says if you play for a good organization, you're going to have a very, very very successful career. If you play for a bad organization, you are always going to be in some sort of turnover and change and firing coaches and firing GMs. Matthew Stafford has played in Detroit for too long, and nobody knows he's as good because they don't play on Monday Night Football multiple times a year. They don't play a bunch of Sunday Night Football games, which is exactly true. They're just an organization that's kind of trying to find their way throughout his career. Exactly. I mean, he summed it up great. First point I like to look at here, when he says, look, if you play for a bad organization, you're not going to be very successful, and that's the simplest form I think I can go into with Matthew Stafford. He came into an 0-16 team. What literally were your expectations for the Lions at that point? I'm assuming 2 years down the line, it wasn't, hey, playoffs. You know what I mean? You were just 0-16, but he did that. I mean, this guy has been one of our best quarterbacks of all time. Now, I'm not going to go back and look at, and try to make an argument like, oh, is he better than, some of the 60s quarterbacks? Because that's kind of like, I mean, that's so different. I can't even compare those two. Plus, honestly, I don't really want to talk about that. But instead, I want to talk about kind of current day. And I love that point that he made up. If you're in a good organization, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, when you step into those organizations, yeah, you're going to have success because who was there before you had success as well. It's not like you're coming into an organization that's trying to rebuild. No, you're coming into a team that's already good, and you're just kind of filling in for who was there before. Maybe you're a little bit better than the guy before, but it doesn't mean, you're coming into a bad organization like Matthew Stafford did and trying to have to turn it around. When they say changing of coaches, we've seen that multiple times. We've seen a whole bunch of crazy things going on with Matthew Stafford, and he's right when he says that they've been doing this since Barry Sanders was here and Calvin Johnson, and this is definitely true. Now, I'm not going to get into those too much, but either way, Matthew Stafford has played for multiple guys, Jim Schwartz, Jim Caldwell, and now Matt Patricia, in just 11 seasons, okay? Now, the thing that I like what he points out here, I know this doesn't really have a lot to do with necessarily Matthew Stafford's talent, but I like this. He says, it's because the Lions don't play enough Monday night games or Sunday night games. Hey, man, let's start a petition. I think we should get on more primetime games. I don't know about y'all, but I think I'd be down with this. Some people don't like primetime games because they're, late and stuff. I'm down with primetime games. If you want to, boot some of these other teams that get tons of primetime games, I'm not going to say any team names because every time I do that, I feel bad, but we could get more than one. I mean, you can get more than one, you know what I'm saying? If you want to flex one, if you want to make the Denver game a night game, I wouldn't be mad at you anyways. But I do like what Carson Palmer had to say here, and I knew there was a reason I liked you, Carson. I knew there was a reason, and I thought I would point that out, okay? Now, Carson Palmer is a really good player, so if there's anybody that's credible to say stuff like that, it's definitely Carson Palmer, okay? He's had a lot of good times over his years, okay? Good moments, okay? So, with that being said, I like what Carson Palmer had to say. And I'm excited to see this Monday Night Football game against Aaron Rodgers. Now, again, our only primetime game, unless you count Thanksgiving, which we do every single year. So, we'll see what happens. Either way, it should be an exciting Monday Night Football game. I just want to touch on this. I appreciate you, Carson. The jersey's dope. Thank you, Brad, for watching, and I'm out.